Welcome to Perkins V Technical Assistance, presented by Tennessee Board of Regents, the college system of Tennessee. In this session of Technical Assistance, we will focus on the Perkins V Reserve Grant, including the application process. Background. The Tennessee Board of Regents has exercised the option to offer Perkins Reserve Grants since the passage of the Carl D. Perkins Act of 2006. Annually, the design and areas of focus of the Perkins Reserve Grants have reflected the strategic direction of the Board of Regents and the Office of Student Success. With the passage of the Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, Perkins V, the Tennessee Board of Regents will continue to utilize the Perkins Reserve Grants as authorized under Section 112C. This notes that states may reserve not more than 15% of the amount allocated as local funds for distribution in 1. Rural areas, 2. Areas with high percentages of CTE concentrators or CTE participants, 3. Areas with high numbers of CTE concentrators or CTE participants, or 4. Areas with disparities or gaps in performance. The Reserve Grant is awarded in order to 1. Foster innovation through the identification and promotion of promising and proven career and technical education programs, practices, and strategies, which may include programs, practices, and strategies that prepare individuals for non-traditional fields. Or 2. Promote the development, implementation, and adoption of programs of study or career pathways aligned with state-identified high-skill, high-wage, or in-demand occupations or industries. The Tennessee Board of Regents will distribute Reserve Grant funds to eligible campuses through a competitive application process. Awarded funds must be used as described in Section 135, Local Uses of Funds, of the Perkins V legislation. Focus area. There are 2 focus areas for the Perkins Reserve Grant. Up to one of the following focus areas is eligible for each institution that received funds under the Perkins Act. Campuses may apply for one of the focus areas. Please note that each focus area is judged independently, and an applicant could be fully, partially, or not funded for one or none of the focus areas applied. Focus Area 1. Industry Certification Exam Fee. Direct exam fee costs tied to Tennessee Board of Regents student industry certifications as identified in a program of study. An awarded applicant will be reimbursed following submission of appropriate exam cost documentation for one or more identified student industry certifications. Note: the Tennessee Board of Regents reserves the right to disallow reimbursements for certifications not pre-approved, as well as to disallow any reimbursements for certifications that are not aligned to the identified program of study. In addition, preparation materials will not be reimbursed. This focus area applies only to industry certifications that are 1. Pre-approved, 2. Purchased in bulk, 3. Purchased in advance, 4. Covers the direct exam expense for all students within the program who are prepared for the certification, and 5. Provides access to the institution for the results of each exam. For this focus area, the grant award is capped at $10,000. Applicants are encouraged to request only their needed funding amount. Focus Area 2. Testing Site. Testing Site, licensed instructor, site accreditation to administer student industry certifications. Department-identified student industry certifications can often be tested on-site or through an approved licensed instructor. This focus areas allows for an applicant to request funding to 1. Become an approved testing or accredited site for a department-promoted student industry certification, and/or 2. Allow an instructor to become a licensed administrator of a department-promoted student industry certification. Note: if an industry certification is required for teachers, then the exam and preparation costs cannot be reimbursed per Perkins guidelines. Only certifications that are not required for instructors may be included. An awarded applicant will be reimbursed following submission of appropriate documentation showing exam costs, site licenses, and preparation materials. For this focus area, the grant award may go above the allotted $10,000 if documented well in advance. Please request only the necessary funding amount. Award and accountability information. The type of award is discretionary. The estimated amount of available funds statewide at the post-secondary level is $200,000. The estimated number of awards is up to 40 awards. The project period is a total of 12 months. All grant funding will be by reimbursement based on invoices submitted by the applicant's fiscal agent. 100% of the funding is available for reimbursement at the start of the fiscal year. Applicant eligibility and submission. Post-secondary institutions within the Tennessee College System, or who will act as the fiscal agent for a regional consortium of post-secondary institutions, LEAs, and industry partners. Applications must be submitted by the given deadline. The application must be fully approved through the authorized representative level in order to be scored. Failure to do so will disqualify any subsequent submitted grant application. Applicants must complete all requirements, including their proposed budget and an assurances and approvals signature form. Allowable industry certifications. Examples of allowable site license, instructor certifications, and student industry certifications are listed in the Reserve Grant announcement. The listing does not reflect new certifications. An institution who receives an award for Focus Area 1 student industry certifications may submit a revision to request exam funding for newly approved certifications or those which are not on this list. This list is not intended to be exhaustive, only a starting point. Application questions for Focus Area 1. The application for Focus Area 1 student industry certifications includes 7 questions that must be answered by the institution. Here you see a sample of the application questions for Focus Area 1 student industry certifications. Application questions for Focus Area 2. The application for Focus Area 2 site license instructor certifications includes 9 questions that must be answered by the institution. Here you see a sample of the application questions for Focus Area 2 site license instructor certifications. Budget. A Reserve Grant budget summary must be included with the institution's application. Here you see a sample of the Reserve Grant budget summary form. Assurances and approvals. A signed assurances and approvals form must be included with the institution's application. Here we see a sample form for assurances and approvals. Reserve Grant reporting. Under the Perkins V Reserve Grant, institutions are required to report the results of student industry certification exams to the Tennessee Board of Regents. Results should be submitted as directed by June 30th of the fiscal year. Here we see a sample form for Reserve Grant reporting of student industry certification exam results. The completed Reserve Grant application, including the budget summary and the assurances and approvals form, should be uploaded to the appropriate Perkins Uploads page for submission by the given deadline. The Reserve Grant application is now complete. Thank you for watching this session of Technical Assistance presented by Tennessee Board of Regents, the College System of Tennessee.